Jesus was annoying. The general election approaches and, God is interested. God is interested because he cares. He cares about nations. He cares about good government. He cares about ordinary people because he loves each and every person, and their good flourishing is partly about good government. And that's why bad government that looks after the leaders and the influences, is not liked by God. Good government is hard. It's hard to implement ideas, hard to avoid errors, hard to develop policy. It's easy to be blown about by events. When former Prime Minister Harold Macmillan was asked what was the greatest challenge for him as a leader, he replied, "Events, dear boy, events." Jesus was annoying because he cared about good government and how government affected ordinary people. He annoyed the political leaders and religious leaders of his day. He spoke out against them and their actions. He rebuked them even because they didn't care about ordinary people whom God cares about. Jesus was annoying because he proclaimed a righteous way of living and he modelled a servant way of leading. Jesus taught his followers to be similarly annoyed about bad government. He taught us to pray, "Your kingdom come, your will be done." God's will and purpose for God's world to be sought after and worked for. Jesus also taught his followers to speak out for the poor, the vulnerable and the marginalised, to speak out against injustice and inequity. St. Paul instructed the early church to pray for good government. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verses 1 and onwards, "I urge then first of all that prayers, intercession and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness." Down the ages, the church has spoken out, usually annoying those who disagree with its message, that we are to love our neighbour and seek the common good for all, to care for the poor and to lift up the lowly. Jesus was annoying. He reminds us to speak out, not to be annoyingly annoying, but to desire God's true kingdom values, to be known and lived in our land for the common good of all people. I urge you then to pray for our nation. The QR code will take you to a daily short thought for the next 3 weeks. Pray for our nation and remember, Jesus was annoying also.